Hi everyone, welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of questions my mom asked me about Rome. Last episode we talked about Aeneas and his adventures and constant shipwrecks and getting a little handsy with the Queen of Carthage. Today we're going to talk about his descendants later on down the road, the legendary founder, or at least the original founding father of Rome and his twin brother Romulus and Remus. And here's a disclaimer. When I say legendary, is because it's based off a legend, but also there could also be fact behind the legend too. Because one thing is when just as COVID was hitting and starting to hit in Italy, they came across a tomb off the Palatine Hill from I think the 6th century BC, which is around the time of Romulus, and so that I'm interested in. I'm excited to see where that goes, but I digress. So today we're going to be covering the legendary founder of Rome, Romulus, and his twin brother Remus. So, and for this, if anyone is interested, look up the book The Rise of Rome by Anthony Everett. He's a really good writer, and he covers a lot of stuff. And one of the reviews says, an engrossing history of a relentlessly ambitious city's 500-year rise to empire, which is pretty awesome. How a small little city in the center of Italy became the master of what is known as the known world. Even though, Alexander the Great was impressive, but his empire promptly fell apart by two competing generals by the time he died. But yeah, ridiculous. So, let's see. So it's been, a couple hundred years since Aeneas, or more, after Aeneas arrived in Italy. So, the king of Alba Longa, one of his descendants, was overthrown by his brother, and the king's daughter, like the one, not the new one, but his daughter ended up getting pregnant by the god of war Mars. And there's a prophecy that said that, these twins. Sorry, it's hard to phrase. And there's a prophecy that her uncle would be overthrown by the nephews, who of course are the twin brothers. So out of fear, after they were born, he tried to kill them, and so he tried to kill them, so their mother decided to put them in a basket and in the Tiber. So it sailed down the Tiber, and eventually they came across by a she-wolf, and they were suckled. Yeah. So let's just leave it at that. But eventually they were also found then later on, as they're being protected by the she-wolf, they were found by a farmer and his wife, who probably took them in. So as they grew up, they finally realized, what's going on here? And why they're so strong, because, of course, they're demigods. They led a revolt against their great uncle, and recaptured Alba Longa, and also promptly freed their grandfather, too. But later on, they decided to go back to the location where they're found by the she-wolf and the farmer, where they decided to build a city, which is Rome. But here's the story for you. As the walls of Rome is being built, Remus, of course, being a sibling, decided to jump up and over the walls, But Romulus wasn't having it, so he ended up, the last time Remus jumped over the wall, Romulus murdered him, with the saying that this is what happens with the enemy when somebody goes over these walls, which promptly set up the martial spirit of the Roman people. So after that, Remus's supporters left the city, where they went to the city of Siena, which is further north. And if you've been there, you would see a statue of the twin brothers and the she-wolf, which is pretty awesome to see, But yeah, so it was really weird and quite impossible. It can be possible, but not the way things were back then. Is that Romulus had a 40-year reign, which is impossible. If you think on it, the way things were back then, barely any medicine. So during his reign, he, in order to find more people for the city, which did not have a very big population, he captured a woman from the Sabine tribe, and there's a statue. They're called the Rape of the Sabine Woman, but he captured them 4 wives for his men because they didn't have any families running around in Rome, and that didn't make them the Sabine tribe very happy. So they marched on Rome, and Romulus marched back on them, and they fought. But the wives did not want, or the captured wives wouldn't want their men to die. So they talked out both them, and they both combined the tribe. They combined people, which in the end worked. And Romulus slowly started setting up some things that were used later on in the Republic. Like let me look at my book here. Like let's see. Yeah, so many books, so little time, But he was just well known for starting to build things. Of course, keep in mind, of course, around this time, archaeology shows that Rome was more had 7 hills had different huts, so it wasn't like the city we know. But yeah, Romulus slowly set up things that were used, like the Senate, the army, and just slowly expanded Rome territory. But at some point, later on during the Republic, which would be during after the fall of the kings, it starts expanding further and further and further until it becomes the empire we all know. But reigned for 40 years, which is impressive, but also kind of hard. So toward the end of his the end of his reign, he was either killed by a jealous senator, or, according to legend, disappeared, and taking his place among gods. Who knows? But history is cool like that. I hope everyone enjoyed that video, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me in the comments, and Roman Victa.